In the following section, we shall have a look at selected organizational forms from the perspective of knowledge creation and knowledge transfer. So first we have from infinitely flat to starburst. Commonly, companies structure their organization according to product groups, process investments, geographical necessities, or functions in order to increase effectiveness and efficiency. These organizational forms follow the criteria of stability, especially that of control. Requests for renewal, the demands of many employees for more freedom and creativity, as well as the information communication technology have given rise to a complete range of new organizational forms. Four such ideal types can be described as follows. From the knowledge viewpoint, these forms of organizations, infinitely flat, inverted, starburst, and spider, are different from each other in the following aspects. First, we have localization of knowledge. Where can one actually find the deep knowledge that presents the core competencies of a company? Second, localization of customization. Here, where is knowledge converted into customer solutions? The third one, direction of the knowledge flow. Here, in which direction does the value creating knowledge flow? The fourth and the last one, method of leverage. In here, how does an organization transform the knowledge from individual to collective knowledge? All the aforementioned forms of organization tend to delegate responsibility to the part where the company comes in contact with the customers. All the forms create a flat organization and remove hierarchies. They all seek fast, adequate, and individual customer communication. All these forms require that you overlook the traditional mindset about command lines. One employee, one boss structure, center being the leading power and management of tangible assets being a key to success. But each of these organizational forms varies significantly in terms of their purpose and management. So let us have a closer look at these different forms of organization from the knowledge viewpoints. You can see the comparison of these organizational forms at the end of this discussion. Every type of organization is described theoretically. First, we have the infinitely flat organization. Effective replication of routines. The center of this organization stays in contact with infinite nodes. For example, individual field staff, branch offices of franchise partners, and etc. The leading competence or the knowledge on how to create and operate a fast food chain or how to sell Tupperware and Avon cosmetics lies at the center. The knowledge about the customers lies with the employees of the branches that work parallel with less direct communication. Thus, the center is the source of information, coordinator, place of transfer of best practices, and problem solver. It is the core of the growth process. In the market, new nodes, for example, branch offices or franchise partners, they are constantly added to the center. Furthermore, the center continuously generates new products and services packages that are then provided to the nodes by means of intensive training and e-learning. Such flat organizational structures are particularly effective when it is possible to break up the activities of the nodes in individual sections and to optimize these activities. This is the case with the recipes and the operating guidelines of a fast food chain or the basic components of financial transactions of financial brokers and banks. In the best case scenario, the training curve is accelerated through the information system across the company in such a way that employees with relatively few qualifications are capable of giving higher performance relatively quickly. This reminds us of a Tayloristic division of work wherein the higher efficiency is linked to fast growth and a continuous innovation process. However, there is no traditional career path anymore in such infinitely flat organizations. Wage incentive systems must contain a balance of qualitative and quantitative performance parameters. This type of infinitely flat organization presents an option to create highly intelligent organization with employees having relatively less education and knowledge. It also gives an option to respond quickly to the market changes by being equipped with efficient market antennae. Second, we have the inverted organization, support to individual expertise. The core competencies of the company as well as the customer knowledge are found at the nodes and not at the center. Examples of such organizations are hospitals, consultancy firms, or engineering firms. Here, the nodes are the doctors, the partners of the consultancy firm, and the engineering experts. Generally, in an inverted organization, the exchange of knowledge between the individual nodes tends to happen informally, while exchange of knowledge between a node and the center is a formal process. This is distributive allocation of knowledge. For example, the organization offers logistic or administrative support of experts, but it does not give instructions or control the business operations. The function of a line manager is restricted to overcoming the bottlenecks, developing the company culture, providing advice on request, starting exchange of experiences and cooperation, as well as providing a range of services offered to the experts. Hierarchy can exist to a certain extent in order to ensure consistency in carrying out a task as per corresponding rules. In a way, the line management adopts the functions of the staff. Inverted organizations function well if the employee handling the customer has more information and knowledge about the customer's problem and possible solutions than the center, and if experts are willing to learn jointly. Safeguarding effective knowledge transfer and competence development of the entire organization is a special challenge for such inverted organizations, so that on the one hand knowledge is retained when a specialist or a team leaves the company, and on the other hand it is possible to create new business fields. Furthermore, the loss of formal authority can be traumatic for earlier management of the classical type. Specialists gladly ignore the rules and the norms of the company. As a result, a strong common value system and incentive system that honors not only the individual performance but also the contribution to the development of the entire company is necessary for the functioning of an inverted organization. If this does not happen, the individual competence that is generally high cannot be converted into high competence of the entire company. Colleges are a good example for this scenario. Generally, the individual high school teachers or institutes have high field-specific competence that is used only in rare cases through effective cooperation to increase the competence and the renewal ability of the entire entity. Next, we have the Starburst organization, the new business creator. Organizations that are depicted in the form of a starburst have specialized and value creating knowledge in the branches as well as the center. These companies continuously generate new business fields or companies that in turn build new companies. The branch operates largely independently in the market and raises its capital in the market. In the analogy to financial holding, the Starburst organization is a knowledge holding, wherein new companies are formed continuously based on the specialized competence. Examples of such companies are film studios, insurance companies, or even software companies that open different markets and market niche with their firms with the help of a certain basic software. The constant renewal and recombination of knowledge through cooperation is more important for these companies as compared to components of stabilization. Starburst organizations are particularly successful when they have expensive or complex know-how on the one hand, and on the other hand, operate in a business environment that changes quickly and for which entrepreneurship becomes essential. In this way, it is possible to amortize expensive and specialized knowledge immediately in different markets. Thus, the company can penetrate the differentiated markets quickly with minimum equity and high competence. The center designs the organizational culture, cultivates innovation and risk, sets priorities, selects key persons, and procures resources more efficiently than the branch. However, the actual entrepreneurial activities take place in the branches that have extensive freedom in organizing their business fields as long as such branches are commercially successful. As long as such branches are commercially successful. A classical problem in this form of organization is that often the central management loses faith in the branches very quickly if the desired market results do not appear rapidly enough. Efforts are made to consolidate such branches, thus disturbing its energy. Yet another problem arises when the branch develops a very high capital requirement that is not covered by the center and capitalization through the market is undesirable. Next, we have the spider organization, creating value by networks. The spider's web is a metaphor for an ideal type of network. Company networks are an organizational form of economic activities. Such organizational form binds the coordination potentials of market and hierarchy with each other in an intelligent manner and is distinguished by cooperative rather than competitive and relatively stable relationships between more than two legally independent companies or company units that are financially more or less dependent. The nodes can be products, services, or competence centers for specific technologies. They can bear regional responsibility, have a long-term existence, or can be installed temporarily as projects. Knowledge is mobilized in the presence of projects or order situations. The spider starts running to hunt down the prey. Knowledge flows within numerous nodes. Typically, the individual nodes work together only temporarily in order to develop specific customer solutions. Knowledge development is exponential. Very few nodes give rise to several combination options. Such project-related or order-related networks exist already since hundreds of years. For example, we have the universities or networks of trading groups. The advantage of the network is that they can successfully facilitate high specialization and handling of different geographical regions and simultaneously focus on a specific problem of a specific customer. Hence, the network model is also used in the management of international companies, just like, for example, in the form of model of a transnational corporation. Although the network is good for a fast response and for ad hoc problem solutions, it poses difficulties in developing long-term business strategies. Competition between individual nodes can obstruct the distribution of knowledge. Networks function properly only if there is an open culture and a willingness to cooperate. The grading systems must rate the networks based on their individual success and their contribution to the total success of the organization or other network nodes. Common interests of the members of a network, a common value system or intersecting value system and profit, all of which is achieved by teamwork. It is essential for functioning of every network. Generally, we find that more of these ideal types of organizational forms coexist in real organizations. For instance, the reservation system of one airline and the respective operative systems are linked but are designed in a completely different manner in their organization. The reservation service is a spider's web. The flight operations are infinitely flat. The financial administration is conservative and hierarchical. The maintenance and ground service is decentralized and hierarchical, and ground service is decentralized and hierarchical, and the training and advanced training are organized functionally. Thus, different organizational structures and contexts can coexist in one company as long as it makes sense for the functions that are to be completed.